Okay, hello everyone, and I will try to share my screen. Let's see. Okay, you should be able to see it, right?
Yes.
Okay, so well, for me it's morning time, and for you probably it's different time in your time zone. Anyway, so welcome to this webinar. And my name is Slava Tykhonov. I'm senior information scientist from DANS, and DANS is an institution from Netherlands, and we are part of the Royal Netherlands Academy of Arts and Sciences. And I'm going to tell something about how to set up a Dataverse repository for your institution. So first of all, well, a bit of information about me. So in last 5 years, I was involved in a lot of projects. Actually, I used to work on more than 10 national and international projects. And dependent from requirements, I'm taking different roles. So sometimes I work as supervisor. Sometimes I'm taking software developer roles. Sometimes I'm involved as Dataverse expert. So I'm just involved in different activities, and this is basically how I can exchange information with different communities, and I can make Dataverse even more stronger. So yeah, I also wanted to tell something about my institution. So we are DANS is Dutch National Research Center of Expertise and Repository for Research Data, and our mission is to help researchers to make their data available for reuse. And we have more than 150,000 data sets stored in our repositories, and quite a lot of people, 60 employed by DANS, and basically we are one of leading organizations in Europe working on a FAIR topic. So basically we have 3 pillars in our research program, and it's about focus on FAIR, and it's about how we are going to provide expertise for research data management to other people, to other organizations, both in Netherlands and also in Europe and worldwide. And also we're running versatile data repository. So we have so-called data stations. I'm going to tell you something in further slides. And also we are active collaborator in different research projects. So today my topic is, of course, Dataverse, and probably you know what Dataverse is. And just to remind you, it's open source project developed by IQSS of Harvard University, and it started in 2006, and it has very experienced and dynamic development team working on it, and very clear roadmap, publicly shared, and other people can contribute. So basically, there is strong community behind of Dataverse that is working together on common requirements and building functionality that is going back to Dataverse. So basically, everybody can contribute from something that got developed in Netherlands or in France or in other countries. So at the moment, Dataverse has been selected as data repository by countries from all continents, and it has very well developed architecture that allows to innovate quickly with using API economy. So at the moment, we have 63 production-ready installations worldwide, and I already mentioned on all continents, and we have quite a lot of data sets also shared in this network. And basically it's growing because there are also hundreds of Dataverses that people are testing in different countries, and they're going to make also production ready those repositories very soon. So it's also very important to understand that all metadata from all Dataverse instances, they're shared, and they're also searchable in central Harvard instance. So if you'll search something there, you can also find data from Netherlands, for example, that they are contributed by our researchers. So when DANS first started to deal with Dataverse, it was in 2013. So it was like first versions of Dataverse. And I came to DANS in 2016, and we had version 3 point something in that time, which was old version, and it was not implemented according to our requirements. And we started migration to a new version. And basically what we did, we implemented federated login for all Dutch institutions. So they can just use their login and password just to access all services from Dutch Dutch communities. And also we created handle functionality for Dataverse, and we did integration with our archival system. And also they started to work on applications layer, and unfortunately in that time it was not possible to make it sustainable and production ready. But now with community effort, people just building different tools, different visualizations, and all of that is available for all partners. So talking about Dataverse, first we created Dataverse NL, and this is collaborative data network where we have a lot of institutes and universities on one website. And basically, if you open this website, Dataverse NL, you can get impression how it works. So every university, every client has own sub-Dataverse. There they can deposit their own data. And basically their own data managers responsible for content that people deposit in. So this is just overview of clients that we have, and it's growing. So a lot of people just coming to us because it's quite interesting topic. It's community development, so they can also bring their own requirements, and we can also implement some new functionality for them. So basically our cooperative model, it includes technical maintenance of system and storage, and we're also organizing meetings with all customers. And research institutions, they're responsible for research data management support for their researchers. So it means that they have own data stewards and data managers, and basically they're responsible for content. We're not responsible for what they're depositing. It's their responsibility, and they should follow GDPR law and other policies, and it's basically out of our scope. And they're paying a bit service membership fee, and it's not too much. I think we started with 5,000 euro per year, which is quite small amount for institutions, for big universities. So basically this shared cost, because we have a lot of partners now, it allows us to maintain this infrastructure and also provide updates and to do some developments based on requirements from people. So there is also advisory board, and basically we have people that advising us on which things that should be implemented and which directions we should look. And they have regular meetings to discuss this. Also, administrators and data managers, they also have own meetings to discuss technical and functional issues that we have in our infrastructure. And it's more or less on a regular basis, one time per month or something. So in Dataverse NL, we also have a cooperation agreement, service level agreement, and GDPR agreement, and this kind of stuff. So if you are interested in this information, we can share all those documents. And I also put here Marion Wittenberg, she's account manager. So if you have some questions about this collaborative model, she's the best person to ask, basically. So after we successfully managed to run Dataverse NL as a service for Dutch research institutes and universities, we started to think about new model. And here you can see our future data services. So we have our own long-term preservation service called Easy, and we have really a lot of data, more than 150,000 there. And basically now it's the right moment just to get back all content, all data that we already preserved, and to get it back and put in Dataverse and make it available for research communities. So basically we have a plan to run 6 more data repositories based on Dataverse. We called them data stations. And for every data station, we also have a research community running projects. So for example, we have Claria for social sciences and humanities, and we have SHOC. So this is also social sciences and humanities cloud, but on European level. We have EOSC synergy, and this is community working on maturity of services. So we are using all these outcome from all projects to renovate services at DANS and also on European scale. And also we are basically all functionality that we are developing, it's shared with Dataverse community. So people from Australia, from Canada, from United States, that can also benefit from what we are doing. So in this sense, Dataverse is really considered as key framework for open innovation. So, of course, you know about major challenges to provide services for researchers. It's maintenance concern. So after your project will be finished, who will be in charge of your data and who will update metadata and this kind of stuff. Of course, there are infrastructure problems. If your research community has own tools, who will run them for researchers and who will maintain them, and various interoperability issues, which is quite a big issue for Europe and also for the world. How to leverage data exchange between different systems and between different data repositories even. And all these things like software updates, bug fixing, and other things. So it's quite difficult to manage if you don't have experienced team. So now I'm coming to the point. If you would like to install Dataverse, there is very nice manual and it's very detailed. And the only thing you should hire really experienced staff, system administrators and developers that can basically follow this instruction and install and run Dataverse. But anyway, for releases, if you already have up and running Dataverse, Dataverse team also publishing really detailed description of what is inside of release, what kind of instructions should be executed, and how to keep Dataverse up to date. So we knew about these kind of problems, that it's quite difficult to run Dataverse from the scratch, and you have to hire really experienced people. And we started to work in one of our first Dataverse projects. We started to work on infrastructure that can automate all the installation, and we developed this Docker module. And here you can see the link. And if you'll go to this link, there is also GitHub repository. So basically, it allows just to run and install Dataverse automatically, basically with one command. And also you can do installation locally if you would like just to test things. So it's nice demonstration. And also, if you have some domain name, you can run it for your research community, for your university, for your institution, and you can give access to people, and they can immediately test Dataverse functionality after it will be installed. So our project became input for another project. So in Dataverse Kubernetes project, people started to work on maturity, and they created infrastructure to be deployed on the cloud. And basically, they restructured our Docker images, and they created this Dataverse Kubernetes. And now, if you have access to Google Cloud, Amazon, or Microsoft Azure, or you're running your own cloud, you can also try installation on cloud from this Dataverse Kubernetes module. So now I'm coming to the point where we've got funding for SHOC project, and SHOC means stands for Social Sciences and Humanities Open Cloud. So basically, this Dataverse Kubernetes project also become input for this SHOC project. And basically, the idea of SHOC project is to create a collaborative social sciences and humanities infrastructure for European Open Science Cloud, EOSC. And we have a lot of standards and common catalog, access control, and other techniques. And we want to interconnect all those infrastructures and to be available and for research communities. And we want also to establish governance model. So here you can see our objectives. Our task is about hosting and sharing data repositories, and the idea that we'll make use of Dataverse software for 4 different European communities: Daria, Clarin, Eris, and CESDA. And the idea that we'll build mature infrastructure based on requirements coming from those communities. And we'll also develop external applications integrated with Dataverse, and we'll instigate sustainable governance models. And also we providing trainings. So we had straight before COVID-19 outbreak, we had a really nice workshop in Tromsø in Norway, where a lot of people from different countries, from different continents came, and we had some training sessions how to install Dataverse, and what is possible to do with Dataverse. So I already mentioned we have a lot of different communities with different needs and different requirements, but there are some common things. So it's called data commons, and it's really essential thing for integrations that different communities should build. So here we are talking about research tools, about data repository, about computing resources and storage. So all of these basically describes cloud infrastructure that can be available or should be available for any research community. And basically this is a way how we can build interdisciplinary projects, and we can combine different disciplines, and we can force them to work together. And you can see there are active research things like collection, cleaning, process analysis, and exploration and visualization. Also, there is cloud computational layer where people can run their experiments on some cloud infrastructure, and they can put results in Dataverse connected to some storage layer. And also we are providing data management and archival possibilities like persistent identifiers, well-described metadata, external control vocabularies. We're keeping provenance information, versions, and access control. So all of this you can find in presentation of Mercé Crossas, and she is Chief Data Officer of Harvard University. So probably everybody heard about FAIR principles, and just to remind you, it's about findable, accessible, and reusable and interoperable principles. So Harvard team in the end of 2019, they did a self-assessment of Dataverse, and what they discovered that Dataverse has really strong support for findable, accessible, and reusable principles, but unfortunately for interoperability there is weakness, because only control vocabularies that are inside of Dataverse are supported. So we decided to fix this issue in SHOC project, and we started to work on the external control vocabularies implementation. So basically our goal is to increase Dataverse interoperability, and currently we're working on a few metadata schemas available for different research communities. And we have CESDA metadata schema, which is consortium of European social science data archives, and another metadata schema is called CMD. It's component metadata infrastructure for linguistics community. So basically our idea that we need to connect metadata to different ontologies and external control vocabularies. We should use Dublin Core, DCAT, and other ontologies. And also we should define semantic relationships between new metadata fields, and we're going to use COS for that. And also available control vocabularies should be connected to specific fields. That's all in metadata schema that we are creating. And even more important, we should support multilingual access to control vocabularies. So it doesn't matter if you have metadata in French or in German or in Dutch, everything should be connected to some URIs common for control vocabularies. And all this information should be discovered through a link to Open Data Cloud. So we are using Cosmos framework, and this is a nice framework that was developed in Finland by National Library, and it allows to browse through control vocabularies, and it has really nice hierarchy, so you can see a lot of things, you can see all relations, and it has also a very nice API that allows us to connect to Dataverse. So this is how it looks like, external service support. So you have a form with some metadata, and you can select some vocabulary. And after you will type some term, you will see a list of suggested terms. And basically, this list is coming from Cosmos framework with imported control vocabularies. So in this way, we can support any control vocabularies, even from other institutions. We just need to import to Cosmos, or we need to tell them how to install Cosmos in their own infrastructure. So I already mentioned about multilingual support. So in Dataverse, you have a lot of languages. I believe like 12 languages already supported out of the box. So in this web interface, if you'll switch to French, all terms will be also switched to French. So you can basically type and find something in your own language. And after it will become part of metadata, but it will be stored with some URI that will allow to find this concept in linked open data cloud. So I already told you about external control vocabulary support, but this is not the only one thing that we do in this project. We also have so-called Dataverse App Store, and we are building external applications for data preview. And here you can see we contributed spreadsheet viewer, and people already working on a lot of other viewers. So we have PDF, DDI Explorer, we have images, video render, and all of these functionalities available out of the box. You can just connect to your Dataverse and it will run. So you can just use these applications to preview your own data. Also, we are working on the processing tools. So basically, we have Nestar, which is quite common framework to store DDI data, and we also created a migration pipeline, so we can get data from and metadata from Nestar migrated to Dataverse, well, semi-automatically. And also we are taking care about link data and RDF compliance. We are using so-called FAIR data point, and this is basically the way how you can get metadata converted to RDF standard, and all this metadata will be available for linked open data community. And also we are working on federated login and authentication services. So this is example how it looks like, and this spreadsheet previewer that we created in our project, and we contributed to Dataverse community, and now it's available on Harvard Dataverse and on other Dataverses. You can also enable it, and after you can get this functionality out of the box from the community. Another thing, this is application related to linguistic resources, and it's Clarin tool that called Switchboard, and it was also integrated with Dataverse. And basically, it allows to run different virtual research environments to do some kind of useful stuff, like name entity recognition, for example, connect NLP tools, and to do morphological analysis and other things. So it will become also part of our distribution for Clarin and other communities. So you already heard about a lot of ambitions and a lot of Dataverse instances that got deployed in different countries and different continents, and it's very important also to track what's going on in those repositories and how every discipline basically is doing. So we need some reliable framework to monitor data landscape. So basically, there is a really nice initiative called Make Data Count, and the Dataverse team implemented this as a part of basic functionality. So it's available in every Dataverse instance. And basically, it allows to get information about total views for every data set and downloads amount, downloads for data set, and citations for specific data sets. All this information is available out of the box now. And it's also available from Metrics API, and it allows us to see what's happening with Dataverse network on a global scale. So here you can see metrics that got created from all collected information, and you can get some impression of what kind of categories we have in Dataverse project, and about total data sets and data sets downloads. So all this information is available almost real time on Harvard website, and you can see you can basically get impression and you can understand how open science is doing on a global scale. So I already told you a lot of times about multilingual support and actually how we're going to tackle this problem. Of course, it's quite difficult to maintain all translations for all releases that Dataverse team does. And we decided to run a tool called WebLate. And we're basically running this tool as a service, and it allows to translate user interface properties and also metadata schema properties. And also there's possibility to synchronize all translations with common GitHub repository. So here you can see also some objectives, how it works. So basically we can connect WebLate to properties and we can also invite people, translators that are responsible for different languages. So basically after the Harvard team will release, will make new release, we'll get new untranslated strings. So we can immediately assign tasks to translators to translate those strings in their language. And after we can get it updated in central repository, so everybody will get updates from network. So here you can see an example how it works. So first line is in English and second line is in Dutch. And after translator will do all translations, it will go to central repository. So of course, it's quite a challenge to get all these external tools and Dataverse itself in a good shape after every release, because something obviously can break. And you know, as a lot of people are working on the same thing, that is quite difficult to get a consistency of all these updates. So in EOSC, we have a SESDA maturity model, and this is model that was created basically to make services more sustainable. And you can see from this slide, EOSC requires the level 8 at least of maturity. And basically, we need the highest quality of software to be accepted as a service. And we need transparent evaluation of all services. We need the evidence of technical maturity. And of course, we need to be able to stop all services that are already out of warranty. So how we will do that? We are basically running, we are going to create, next to every application, we are going to create all unit tests and Selenium tests and really nice enriched documentation and warranty statements. All this will this information will be packaged and will be our input to deploy services on Kubernetes infrastructure. And basically, it means that you can also connect your own Dataverse running in your place to some service that is deployed on our place. And because it's maturity enough, nothing will break, even after updates. So in project called EOSC Synergy, we're working on this continuous integration and deployment pipeline. And it means that every tool that we have goes through this process. So if there are some new updates coming to GitHub branch, there is also a tool called Jenkins, and it's getting notifications. And after it just runs different tests, so software quality test, and also it does fairness assessment. And it's, if everything is fine, it's issuing digital badge that this infrastructure, this component is ready to run in the infrastructure. And after, everything is getting updated automatically. So you should not think about consistency or about bugs. If everything will be accepted, it will go to Docker, and after it will be just updated on Kubernetes. So yeah, I already mentioned social sciences institutes and researchers, but basically everybody can contribute from our work. And I really invite you to also to be part of this community, because something that got developed in one country can be easily available for another country, and even we can work together in collaborative way. So yeah, so last slide, I'm also co-chairing group on Dataverse working group on control vocabularies and ontologies, and also on registries. So if you have any kind of questions related to this stuff or another stuff, just go to on dataverse.org website. You can find a lot of communication channels. You can join forum and you can just ask questions. And well, let's see who will respond. We have a lot of people now in community, and I believe even 100 developers. So thank you very much, and I'm open for questions.
Thanks a lot, Slava. There are 2 questions already in a Q&A, so I'll read them to you. Joe from Africa Archive is asking, I missed a bit about costs, membership plus storage. What is the amount again? And maybe
Okay,
maybe I should warn here that we're talking about Dutch universities, and Dutch universities' realities are very, very far from realities in our institutions. So don't be scared with the numbers that Slava mentions.
yeah, so for Dutch institutions, a few years ago, it was 5,000 euro per year. And after we started to add more services, so I believe now it's 10. But anyway, for Dutch institutions, it's quite, well, I wouldn't say it's too much. For other data repositories, they should pay more. So.
And even if they run their own institutional repository.
Yeah, so if they run, they also should pay more, I believe. And for storage, basically, it's yeah, it's based on how much they need, and they're just paying some not really too much per terabyte. I don't remember how much exactly, probably 200-300 euro per year, something like that.
Thanks. And Nabil from Orchid is asking, what are the global PIDs you're using with Dataverse?
So we have DOI functionality that you can get out of the box, and also handles.
And you don't have Orchid?
You mean, okay, so we basically have 2 different stories here. Dataverse itself, after you will create dataset, it has possibility to assign persistent identifiers based on DOI and handle. But ORCID is something that depositor himself should put in the system.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and it's also enabled, right?
Yeah, it's enabled, of course, as part of metadata. Yeah.
Thanks. Then there is a question from Felipe. How can we use your custom app store plugins?
Okay, so we have a global Dataverse consortium GitHub repository, and basically all external tools that is being developed and accepted by Dataverse, they place there. So you can go. I will probably share a link.
Yeah, maybe if you could put a link in the chat.
Yeah, so basically you can go there. Usually we are providing instructions how to connect tools. And basically I already mentioned that it doesn't matter if you run to external tool or someone else already deployed this tool. You can just connect it by using your address to domain name and API token and this kind of stuff, and you can connect it to your own repository. So this is just cloud infrastructure.
Thanks. And there is a question from Valentina. Do you plan to integrate all these developments in the main IQSS Dataverse GitHub repository?
Yeah. So, well, I have to mention that in SHOC project, we have 2 teams. One team is working on core functionality, and whatever they do, like external control vocabulary support, it should go to Dataverse master branch. So everybody should get it. But we also working on external tools. So of course, it's functionality that we're building outside, and it should go to global Dataverse consortium repository.
Thanks a lot. I don't see any other questions, and LIBSENSE is a multilingual community, so now we're switching to French. If you don't understand French, but if you still have some questions for Slava, maybe you can type them in a Q&A and he'll answer them in writing. But I do encourage you to stay for this French-speaking presentation, because it's an excellent example of Dataverse implementation in Morocco. And after this presentation, we could also take some more questions in English, if there are any. So, Madame Fadoua.
Oui, je suis là. Oui. Donc, je vais essayer de partager la présentation.
Oui, s'il vous plaît.
C'est bon?
Oui. It's not in a presentation mode, so maybe you could click. Oui, c'est bon maintenant. Merci.
C'est bon?
Oui.
Thank you, Ariana. Merci LIBSENSE pour cette occasion. Bonjour à toutes et à tous. Je suis Fadoua EL MAGUIRI de l'IMIST, l'Institut marocain de l'information scientifique et technique. Avant d'exposer l'initiative de l'IMIST compte tenu de la recherche, je vais essayer de contextualiser un peu les choses. Au fait, le Maroc a accordé ces dernières années une grande importance au secteur de la recherche scientifique qui a connu des évolutions importantes au niveau international. Depuis peu, la science ouverte commence à prendre d'ampleur. On nous parle des mouvements d'open access, open science, open data. Et le CNRST, vu son rôle central dans le système national de la recherche, et en tant qu'établissement public chargé de la promotion, le développement et la valorisation de la recherche scientifique, il se tient à ces mouvements. Donc, il est donc appelé à relever plusieurs défis pour renforcer la compétitivité de la recherche scientifique nationale. Il y a donc une réelle volonté de s'inscrire dans la société de la connaissance. Et l'IMIST, qui est entité qui relève du CNRST, est une structure qui agit pour supporter ces tendances, donc notamment par la mise à la disposition des milieux scientifiques, l'IST, l'information scientifique et technique, dont ils ont besoin pour être à la pointe de leurs activités. En termes de moyens humains, on est à l'IMIST une quinzaine de personnes, entre administrateurs, ingénieurs, informatistes et techniciens. En termes de produits, l'IMIST a réussi à apporter une réponse pratique à une bonne partie des besoins de la communauté scientifique. Donc, en termes d'IST, il a initié une panoplie de produits et services. Donc, par exemple, il y a le portail national des thèses et mémoires. Donc, c'est un produit d'envergure nationale qui s'inscrit dans le cadre d'une politique visant la promotion et le développement de la recherche. La plateforme est le fruit d'une collaboration entre différentes parties. Il y a les chercheurs marocains, les établissements d'enseignement supérieur nationaux et l'IMIST. Je signale ici que Topral est développé en utilisant le logiciel d'ISpace. L'autre produit, c'est Otrohati. Otrohati, aussi sous d'ISpace, c'est une plateforme nationale de signalement des thèses en cours de préparation dans les CEDOC, les centres des études doctorales. Un troisième produit, c'est le portail national des thèses, le portail des revues scientifiques marocaines. Donc, l'IMIST a mis en place ce portail national pour garantir l'enrichissement et la valorisation de la recherche scientifique marocaine. La plateforme héberge plus que 140 revues, toutes disciplines confondues. Je signale ici que PRSM, elle est basée sur OGS, Open Journal System de PKP. Il y a un autre projet qui concerne les DOI. Donc, on a mis en place un service national d'attribution des DOI en 2020. Le CNRST a conclu un abonnement avec l'agence d'enregistrement des DOI Dataseat. Donc, il est devenu un membre direct de Dataseat. L'objectif, c'est de pérenniser l'accès à la production scientifique nationale en attribuant des DOI aux thèses hébergées dans Tchoukral, attribuer des DOI aux différents articles du PRSM, mais aussi attribuer des DOI aux données de la recherche, objet de la présentation d'aujourd'hui. Mais qu'est-ce que les données de la recherche? D'après la définition de l'OCDE, l'Organisation de la coopération et du développement économique, les données de la recherche sont définies soit comme sources primaires qui ont servi à produire et publier des recherches scientifiques, soit comme des sources principales pour valider les recherches, des résultats de la recherche. Et la gestion des données de la recherche, très classiquement représentée par le cycle de vie des données, consiste à gérer la collecte, le stockage, l'accès à la conservation des données, l'accès et la conservation des données produites au cours d'un projet de recherche. Elle devrait être exercée tout au long du cycle de vie des données. Donc, la GDR, la gestion des données de la recherche, se doit d'être partie intégrante du processus de la recherche. Et la GDR, les enjeux de la GDR sont multiples. Avant tout, sont des enjeux scientifiques, mais aussi économiques. Donc, la GDR permet d'éviter une répétition coûteuse de la collecte des données. Elle permet aussi d'organiser et faciliter le travail de la recherche grâce à une organisation des fichiers et des données et éviter certains problèmes comme la perte des données. Une bonne GDR permet aussi la reproduction des expériences et la validation des résultats de la recherche. Elle permet aussi de respecter les exigences des revues subventionnaires. Donc, en effet, de plus en plus, les revues exigent aujourd'hui que les données sous-jacentes aux publications soient disponibles et accessibles. Comme elle permet aussi le partage et la réutilisation des données pour éviter la répétition des travaux de la recherche. Bien sûr, en mettant en place des collaborations, ce qui va permettre d'augmenter la notoriété des chercheurs et augmenter la visibilité et l'impact de la recherche en général. Donc, la gestion des données de recherche s'avère un enjeu majeur pour la recherche et doit être une préoccupation de toute organisation de recherche ou qui se tient à la recherche. L'IMIST accompagne l'évolution des pratiques des chercheurs donc en matière de gestion des données de la recherche afin de faciliter leur valorisation. Et cette démarche a conduit à mettre en œuvre une plateforme nationale de gestion des données de la recherche qu'on a appelée Dataverse pour dire Dataverse Maroc. La plateforme est en version bêta, donc elle n'est pas encore mise en production. Dataverse Maroc, c'est un portail qui est construit à partir du logiciel open source Dataverse. Donc, l'IMIST rejoint un écosystème croissant d'entrepôts qui utilisent le logiciel Dataverse pour le compte des universités marocaines et les autres établissements de la recherche. Donc, l'objectif de cette plateforme est de faciliter la gestion, le partage et la recherche des données de la science produites au sein des différents établissements de la recherche. L'IMIST a choisi Dataverse pour réaliser son entrepôt. Du coup, Dataverse Maroc respecte les principes FAIR de l'open data. Donc, en fait, je vais commencer par F, c'est pour dire fundable, donc facile à trouver. Les données sont identifiables et elles sont associées à un identifiant unique, le DUI, et sont décrites par des métadonnées indexables par les moteurs de recherche. A, c'est pour accessible. Donc, les données sont accessibles et peuvent être obtenues au libre accès. Cependant, certaines données nécessitent une autorisation. Donc, par contre, les métadonnées restent accessibles même si les données ne le sont pas. I, c'est pour interoperable. Donc, les données sont interopérables. Elles respectent les normes et les standards qui permettent le référencement dans d'autres entrepôts et dans les moteurs de recherche aussi. Donc, ce qui facilite leur utilisation et leur partage. R, c'est pour reusable. Donc, les données sont explicitement associées à des licences, et la réutilisation des données est possible par d'autres recherches et pour d'autres finalités. En termes d'organisation, donc Dataverse Maroc, donc pour la structure, donc on va adopter par la suite, donc c'est pour chaque université et il y aura un Dataverse institutionnel contenant de nombreux Dataverses et ensemble de données bien sûr. Et les chercheurs peuvent créer des Dataverses pour leur propre projet ou déposer des ensembles de données directement dans le Dataverse de leur institution. Pour les politiques de dépôt, donc bien que la création de comptes ne sera pas restreinte, donc les chercheurs qui ne sont pas affiliés à une des institutions participantes, donc elles doivent contacter la personne ressource de l'espace Dataverse. Donc, en termes de droit d'accès aux données, donc il y a le téléchargement libre. Donc, s'il y a un accès libre aux données, comme on peut avoir une période d'embargo avant la publication des données, ou bien une demande d'accès, parce que Dataverse Maroc, elle permet la gestion des restrictions d'accès aux données. Donc, en effet, les chercheurs peuvent utiliser Dataverse Maroc pour diffuser et partager leurs données, soit en accès ouvert ou en accès restreint. On a élaboré aussi une charte d'utilisation qui décrit un petit peu les conditions générales d'utilisation du portail. Par exemple, pour l'hébergement, donc Dataverse est entièrement hébergé sur les serveurs de l'IMIST, bien le serveur de SINRST. Les données sont couvertes par des droits de propriété intellectuelle. Pour les types de fichiers, Dataverse Maroc accepte différents formats donc de fichiers, mais les fichiers normalement doivent ne pas nécessiter de logiciels rares ou propriétaires pour leur visualisation et pour leur réutilisation. La taille de chaque fichier déposé dans le portail est limitée à 2 gigaoctets, mais bien sûr, il est possible de déposer plusieurs fichiers. Donc, il n'y a pas une limite définie. Pour les types de données, donc seules les données diffusables doivent être déposées dans l'entrepôt. Donc, les fichiers ne doivent pas contenir des informations, des données personnelles, ni confidentielles, ni sensibles. Donc, pour la licence, par défaut, Dataverse Maroc propose CC0, c'est Creative Commons 0. Donc, c'est une licence qui est très large, toute utilisation autorisée et il n'y a pas de restriction. Mais le chercheur peut refuser CC0 et indique une autre licence pour chaque dataset ou jeu de données. Le portail offre un certain nombre de fonctionnalités donc, qui sont étroitement liées les uns aux autres. Et la gestion de temps. Donc, Dataverse Maroc offre une interface bilingue, français et en anglais, et facile à utiliser pour le téléversement, pour le partage des données aussi, et pour assurer une bonne organisation des fichiers et des données. Il y a la gestion aussi parmi les fonctionnalités, gestion sécurisée des données. Donc, Dataverse Maroc prend en charge la création de conditions d'utilisation et de restrictions. Donc, si les chercheurs limitent l'utilisation de ces données ou leur accès. Donc, aussi, le service Dataverse Maroc propose une copie de sauvegarde. Pour les versions, donc, il y a un suivi des modifications. Donc, Dataverse Maroc offre la gestion des versions pour tracer les changements d'un projet. Aussi, parmi les fonctionnalités aussi, la recherche des données. Donc, en fait, la plateforme permet d'accroître la visibilité de données. Donc, les métadonnées seront indexées pour permettre leur recherche. Pour consulter le contenu du portail, donc, on peut utiliser soit une recherche simple, donc une recherche style Google, ou bien une recherche avancée, donc où on peut affiner nos critères de recherche par champ de métadonnées, comme on peut faire des sélections à partir des facettes. Donc, des facettes, ça veut dire ce sont des filtres dynamiques ou des restrictions itératives. Donc, on peut faire la recherche des résultats par Dataverse, par dataset, aussi par fichier, ou comme on peut le faire par auteur, ou bien par langue, ou par sujet. Donc, parmi les avantages aussi de Dataverse Maroc, il y a le partage des données. Donc, Dataverse est un moyen pratique de partage et qui peut simplifier la collaboration entre les membres d'une équipe de chercheurs dans un espace sécurisé. Aussi, il permet la préservation des données, donc grâce à l'attribution des DOI. Aussi, c'est une solution pour respecter les exigences des revues. Donc, les chercheurs peuvent partager leurs données en conformité avec les demandes des journaux. Nous, à l'IMIST, on a le PRSM, le portail des revues scientifiques marocaines. Elle est développée en utilisant OGS, donc Open Journal System, et OGS communique parfaitement avec Dataverse. Donc, une intégration entre PRSM et Dataverse Maroc est possible pour déposer les données de la recherche. En plus, Dataverse elle permet de générer une URL privée de dataset. Donc, pour permettre à ceux qui n'ont pas de compte Dataverse d'accéder aux datasets non publiés. Pour les actions à venir, donc les IMIST devraient collaborer avec les différents intervenants pour établir un service national de gestion des données de la recherche basé sur un modèle durable qui permette à l'ensemble de la communauté scientifique marocaine d'utiliser efficacement la plateforme Dataverse Maroc. Évidemment, il faut collecter les données et alimenter le portail par les données existantes. Donc, bien sûr, en respectant les aspects éthiques et juridiques dans la matière. L'autre point intéressant concerne la définition d'une politique de gestion des données, y compris le PGD, le plan de gestion de données, et bien sûr la mise en place de toute la documentation nécessaire L'objectif est de sensibiliser, informer et accompagner et former nos chercheurs pour développer une culture des données de la recherche et construire un écosystème propice au partage et la réutilisation des données. Voilà, donc sur ce, je termine ma présentation et je vous remercie pour votre attention.
Merci beaucoup, Madame Fadoua. Il y a une question, et peut-être que vous pouvez lire ces questions parce que mon français n'est pas très magnifique. C'est question and answers, la question de Nabil.
Elena?
So if someone could answer. Okay, I can try to read it in French, but I'm warning you that my French is not really good. But, or maybe.
You know, I can read it. I can read the question.
Yeah, if you can read it.
Alors tout d'abord, je remercie Monsieur Nabil pour la question. Donc sa question est, donc bonjour, merci pour votre présentation, Madame Fadoua. Très intéressant comme modèle d'infrastructure de recherche. Je vous encourage et je voudrais savoir si ce modèle peut être développé dans les pays voisins et créer une interopérabilité pour toute la communauté de recherche ouverte. Alors sinon, donc, j'aimerais savoir comment vous faites concernant la notification des chercheurs et des auteurs. Alors tout d'abord, donc, la question est comment se fait l'identification de la plateforme Dataverse MA vis-à-vis des utilisateurs de la plateforme. Alors, dans un premier temps, l'authentification de la plateforme se fait via de création de comptes locaux et mots de passe. Et puis après, il y a un niveau de validation interne de ces comptes. Alors là, dans un premier temps, c'est la démarche adoptée. Alors dans un second temps, donc, on a un projet de mise en place d'une fédération d'identité nationale appelée UDIDM. C'est un projet national mis en place par le réseau Marouane. Donc, à travers ce projet, donc, on va permettre à notre plateforme Dataverse MA de s'authentifier sur les différents réservoirs ou bien IDP installés dans les différentes universités. Donc, avec cette méthode, donc, l'enseignant ou l'utilisateur, il n'a qu'à avoir un compte sur la fédération d'identité et l'authentification se fera automatiquement sur notre plateforme.
Merci beaucoup. Il y a aussi la question de Cécile. Quel conseil donnez-vous au pays?
Alors, la question de Madame Cécile Koulibaly, donc il s'agit donc quel conseil donnez-vous aux pays qui voudraient initier des projets similaires en termes de gouvernance et d'appui financier, appui technique et partenariat? Donc, notre réponse, c'est d'avoir une politique claire en termes de dépôt des données de la recherche. Et deuxièmement, il faut avoir quand même une équipe derrière, aussi bien technique qu'utilisateur, pour la gestion de toute la plateforme.
Merci.
Alors, il y a une autre question qui parle d'authentification ORCID. Oui, bien sûr. Donc l'IMIST, donc la question est, envisagez-vous l'authentification des utilisateurs via ORCID? Alors, au Maroc, on a un projet de généralisation de l'utilisation d'ORCID au sein de, enfin, pour toute la communauté des enseignants chercheurs au Maroc. Donc, une fois ce projet sera généralisé pour tous les enseignants, donc on peut utiliser une authentification basée sur ORCID.
Rachid, je peux répondre à la quatrième question. Ça concerne la question utilisez-vous un identifiant global? Je suppose que la question c'est à propos des DOI. C'est ça? Pour l'identifiant global, c'est à propos des DOI ou non?
DOI et ORCID aussi.
Oui,
ok, donc Rachid a répondu à la question donc pour ORCID, mais sinon pour DOI, on a dit lors de la présentation que ce n'est resté les membres directs de datasite, donc on utilise les DOI aussi pour les données de la recherche, comme on l'utilise pour les articles et on va les utiliser pour on va les attribuer aussi pour les thèses. Mais sinon pour ORCID, Rachid a répondu à la question.
Alors, juste une précision concernant l'accès à la plateforme. Donc, la plateforme est accessible via l'URL dataverse.ma.imist.ma. Et actuellement, on est en train de travailler sur une migration de la présente plateforme vers la version 5, qui est basée sur un serveur d'application appelé FAIR.
Il y a aussi quelques questions dans les chats. Hicham Traché. Comment présentez-vous la question des communautés et des universités? Qu'est-ce que c'est qui inciterait les chercheurs à aller vers Dataverse Morocco plutôt que d'autres réservoirs? Dans le chat.
Alors, pour répondre à cette question, donc il y a bien sûr, après alimentation de la plateforme, il y a une action très importante qui est la communication autour du produit. Donc, on va communiquer avec toutes les universités concernant l'importance d'utiliser cette plateforme et l'utilité ou bien la valeur ajoutée de la plateforme, c'est qu'il permet aussi bien la réutilisation des données de la recherche des autres. Et deuxièmement, on peut utiliser comme espace de stockage des données.
Il y a aussi les questions de Cyril in Q&A. Est-il possible de filtrer les utilisateurs via l'authentification ORCID pour limiter l'accès aux utilisateurs?
Oui, en fait, pour cette question, donc, il s'agit de définir un filtre des utilisateurs via l'authentification ORCID pour limiter l'accès aux utilisateurs. Alors, pour cette fonctionnalité, on ne l'a pas utilisée encore, mais actuellement, on peut gérer les droits d'accès aux données et on affecte ces droits d'accès aux différents utilisateurs. C'est-à-dire, un utilisateur, je peux lui donner un accès flexible aux données hébergées dans la plateforme.
And I don't see any other questions there. So, merci beaucoup. Any other questions to Madame Fadoua or Monsieur Rachid or Slava?
Yeah, I just have one question. It's basically related to French language. So I see your web interface is already in French, and I know that we had some kind of troubles with Canadian French translations because they're just different. So do you have some difference for Morocco and other countries? So should you create your own properties file, or you can use just original French translation?
Yeah, we use original French translation.
So without any modification.
It's okay for us.
Okay.
It's okay for us. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think Canadians are having issues with, they have their own French.
Yeah, they have really, they changed a lot, quite a lot. Okay, thank you. And probably another question about external control vocabularies. So do you have some control vocabularies that you use for Dataverse Morocco, or you're going to use global control vocabularies?
En fait, I don't understand the questions.
So in metadata fields, you can assign controlled vocabularies and to standardize, for example, keywords. Do you use any controlled vocabularies in your Dataverse?
Pour l'instant, les métadonnées qu'on utilise, c'est des métadonnées standards qui sont déjà sur Dataverse. Donc, pour chaque domaine, il y a des métadonnées standards pour chaque domaine.
No, I understand. If I understand your answer correctly, so you're basically talking about fields. So yeah. Fields are standardized, but content in, let's say, keyword field or in other fields, obviously it will be in French. Yeah. And in our case, for Dataverse NL, it will be in Dutch. And let's say we're talking about the same thing, like social sciences, right? So in Dutch and in French, we will have different keywords, but we want actually to standardize and to have the same URI pointing to this concept in the global control vocabularies. So it will be possible just to link all those variations in different languages to the same concept, and after to find it through different applications. Okay, so it's also fine that probably it's something to discuss in the future.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
I think we answered all the questions that we have in the Q&A or in a chat. So I would like to thank once again Madame Fadoua, Monsieur Rashid, Slava, and everyone for joining us today. So maybe last chance to answer question. There is, I don't know whether it's a question or a comment in a Q&A from Hisham. Monsieur posait le tour sur la langue contrôlée, ontologie, indication continue. But I don't know whether it's a question or a comment. There is also a question mark in the end. So I guess the answer is that control vocabularies are not used yet in Morocco, but maybe I'm wrong.
By the way, our control vocabulary support also allows to standardize ORCID. So basically you can type institution name, for example, and you can get list of suggested institutions from grid database, and it will become also kind of filter to find appropriate researcher. So that's something also on the roadmap of Dataverse team. So probably it will be part of functionality in the future.
And if someone would like to use them, they just enable them in Dataverse repository, right?
Yeah, yeah. So it should be connected to ORCID API and based on filters. So you can resolve these disambiguation issues that just got discussed.
So that's something. Control vocabularies is a topic that we'll still need to explore a bit further, because there is a lot of value for multilingual content.
For Europe, it's really hot topic, and everybody's working on it. And now we have different control vocabularies available in different countries in Europe. And well, basically, we're sharing experience now and trying to find some kind of solution, common solution for this problem.
Thank you very much. And if there are no other questions, thanks again, everyone, and keep an eye on LIBSENSE website and EIFL websites for further webinars on this topic, because research data management is really a hot topic, and I hope we'll keep sharing experiences, and looks like this English-French format works well for many. There is one more question to Slava. Is the DANS experience reusable to upgrade other platforms to implement controlled vocabularies, I guess?
So basically, our implementation allows to reuse the same functionality for other data repositories. And we're going to publish specification based on Cosmos API. And if you have, let's say, DSpace or something else, you'll be able to connect it to functionality that we already developed.
So maybe you can let me know when it's released, and I'll share with everyone. And then maybe we can have a specific webinar how to implement it if it won't be very obvious.
Yeah. So now there is big discussion in Dataverse community, because obviously we want to make it most generic as possible and suitable for all Dataverse partners. And basically from our side, it's almost ready, and there are some adjustments of functionality, and after it will be merged to master branch of Dataverse, so everybody can just reuse it. So it probably will happen next month or months after. We'll see.
And there is a question: is it free?
Everything that we do is just free, and this is the whole idea behind of Dataverse and communities like Dataverse, that it's open science. So whatever functionality you will produce, it should be available for all people that are using this. So this is the most valuable topic in open science, I would say.
Yeah, that's the beauty of free and open source software. And that's why we're in this kind of webinars, we're focusing on free and open source software.
Yeah, and I also have a lot of cases where someone from outside of Europe, like Canada or United States, they just taken our functionality, they're contributing to us, and after it will become a solution for all community members. Or it can get back, so we can add some new functionality to what they already contributed. So it's just common case how we work, how we collaborate in this world.
Thank you so much. Then I'm wishing you a good afternoon and rest of the week. And I'll make sure that I'll email everyone slides and recording. And I'll share Slava's announcement about controlled vocabularies when they are released. Thanks a lot, and bye. Have a good rest of the day.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.